We evaluate trophy real estate almost entirely by its visual aesthetic. The cinematic drone flyovers, the twilight photography, the seamless interior design. These elements establish a baseline expectation for high net worth buyers and renters, but they tell us nothing about the underlying mechanics of the property. Elite brokers have mastered this visual standard. They curate an image of absolute perfection that signals exclusivity and justifies premium valuations. That pristine image is highly effective for marketing, but it creates a dangerous illusion for investors. It convinces owners that an aesthetically perfect house will function as a self-sustaining financial instrument. When investors apply standard property management, what operators call commodity hosting, to a complex estate, the reality fractures. They face a relentless cycle of midnight maintenance crises, rapid physical wear, and algorithmic pricing tools that aggressively discount their asset just to fill calendar days. Escaping this cycle requires abandoning commodity hosting entirely, transitioning into professional operations known as asset governance. This applies the rigorous capital protection protocols of a sovereign wealth fund to a single-family home, optimizing performance while systematically eliminating operational friction. Without these institutional-grade systems running in the background, a flagship estate's aesthetic perfection is a facade. It masks a rapidly depreciating liability that consumes the owner's time and capital. The most common failure point in commodity hosting is the metric used for success. Standard platforms and amateur operators optimize for a 100% booked calendar, assuming that maximum occupancy translates directly to maximum financial yield. To fill those dates, automated tools continuously slash the nightly rate. Discounting a premium property devalues the brand equity, establishes a lower price ceiling for future bookings, and attracts a demographic of guests that generates significantly higher operational friction. Elite operators discard occupancy targets entirely. They measure performance through RevPAR, revenue per available room. This metric tracks the true earning efficiency of the asset across the entire year, regardless of how many nights it sits empty. This financial table illustrates the mathematical reality of yield over volume. Scenario A, 28 nights at $400 grosses $11,200. Scenario B drops occupancy to 18 nights at $750, bringing in $13,500. Scenario B yields higher gross revenue, but the hidden advantage is the operational load. The owner avoids 10 nights of physical wear on complex systems, eliminating associated turnover costs. This requires the discipline of strategic vacancy. By enforcing strict dynamic rate floors, operators intentionally leave the asset empty if the market refuses to meet the minimum threshold. In the luxury tier, a fully booked property is not a success metric. It is a symptom of underpricing and accelerated asset depreciation. Managing an asset at this level means the client is rarely a casual investor. Acquiring and retaining flagship estates requires evaluating the property through the distinct legal and financial lens of a family office. Traditional high-end retail brokerages focus on the transaction and the marketing of the physical space. Institutional operations must move past this baseline to address the specific vulnerabilities of high net worth ownership. The primary vulnerability is exposure. For elite clientele and high-profile guests, privacy is an infrastructure requirement. This demands a strict fortress of privacy protocol. Standard vendors cannot be dispatched to these properties. The operation requires a closed network of staff bound by strict non-disclosure agreements, complete identity redaction in guest manifests, and rigorous control over smart device data access. Once the physical and digital perimeters are secured, the operational focus shifts from simple cash flow generation to holistic wealth preservation. The income stream is integrated with specific tax strategies. Operating expenses, mortgage interest, scheduled capital improvements, and depreciation are meticulously documented and scaled to offset the investor's broader liability profile. An elite co-host is not a property manager tracking utility bills. They are the architect of a legal, financial, and operational security system designed specifically to protect ultra-high net worth capital. Scaling that level of precision across a portfolio is impossible with manual labor alone. Human bandwidth cannot absorb the 24/7 logistical volume generated by complex short-term rentals without catastrophic errors. Platforms penalize slow response times by burying listings deep in search results. Operators deploy AI-driven multilingual communication arrays to answer routine guest inquiries in seconds, ensuring the property remains highly visible in the algorithm. In this system interface, API integrations capture hyperlocal demand. When data identifies an influx for an event, like a biotech conference, the software automatically triggers a pricing spike. That same digital architecture drives the secondary revenue workflow. The system identifies a guest profile and seamlessly routes a targeted concierge upsell, like a private chef, directly to their itinerary. High-net-worth travelers are largely price-insensitive, but highly sensitive to logistical friction. Automating these services resolves their planning bottlenecks while generating substantial secondary revenue for the owner. Proper digital leverage transforms a static piece of real estate into a decentralized resort. It captures multiple high-margin revenue streams simultaneously, all without adding a single night of physical wear to the house itself. Even with perfect digital systems, the physical materials of the property are in constant decay. This is physical entropy, the accelerated degradation of the estate due to heavy use and continuous guest turnover. 80% of this decay occurs in specific high-risk friction zones. Commercial-grade HVAC units, complex smart home automation, and infinity pool mechanics are the systems that fail first under inconsistent care. This creates a phenomenon known as tactile ambiguity. It is the exact moment when the flawless digital management of the property collides with a severe analog failure in the physical world. A $400 electronic deadbolt relies on software. The app confirms the door is unlocked, but coastal humidity causes the wooden door frame to expand, physically trapping the bolt. A VIP guest is now locked outside in the rain, and the luxury experience collapses. Asset governance prevents these analog failures from reaching the guest by deploying arrays of IoT environmental sensors to monitor the physical mechanics of the home. This 3D X-ray tracks the health trajectory of an expensive HVAC system. An attached thermal sensor detects a half-degree temperature creep in the blower bearing over a 2-month period. The computerized maintenance management system interprets that anomaly, generates a work order, and silently dispatches a technician to replace a $50 part during a scheduled 3-day vacancy. On the cleaning side, operators defeat micro-inventory entrapment, where expensive design elements go missing or are moved by guests, by using 3D Matterport digital twins to visually cross-reference the exact placement of every item during a tight 4-hour turnover. Advanced physical governance neutralizes entropy. It protects the investor's capital envelope by resolving catastrophic failures days or even weeks before the next guest arrives. Fully supported by this institutional framework, the property returns to its flawless aesthetic state. It performs precisely as the original architectural renders promised. True luxury is the absolute invisibility of friction. High-net-worth guests are paying for an experience where complex systems work so perfectly they become unnoticeable. Cinematic tours and high-end photography secure the initial inquiry, but once the credit card clears, the responsibility shifts from aesthetic marketing to the rigorous governance of the physical environment. RevPAR optimization, high-net-worth security protocols, API-driven pricing, and IoT entropy defense interlock to form the actual foundation of the estate. Operators must audit their own management structures and abandon the exhausting reactive habits of commodity hosting. The elite operator's focus remains on enforcing the rigorous institutional governance of a high-yield legacy asset.